Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, and presented by our friends at Prize Picks. I am one of your hosts, TyTy Windisch, joined as always by the intrepid Summer League watcher, dream holder, Rohan Katti. I gotta pump you up and make you sound esoteric. This might be a rough pod for you. How's it going, Rohan?
I'm doing well. Summer League is in full swing. Bucks basketball is back in the best and worst way possible. It's as bad as I remember it being. It really is. Every year before Summer League starts, I'm like, hey, here we go. It's Bucks basketball time again.
This is the year.
This is the year. This is the year they can actually do something, go into the playoffs, maybe make some noise. And then every year, I'm just let down by the Bucks Summer League team. And this year's no different.
No, and I thought it would be, and I actually want to start there. I'm pretty disappointed in this Bucks Summer League. I thought this team had enough of, exciting young guys, returning young guys, like the rookies, maybe they'll be able to do something. And the fact that they've just, not played well at all. And I know there is an excuse built in. I thought Pete Dominguez, who I'll read through a quote he had on Chris Livingston later. It's been really fun to have kind of just a different person be interviewed about these guys. He's offered a lot on each guy when asked about them, which is really cool.
Pete Dominguez, the head coach of the Bucks Summer League team, yes, and new member of the Milwaukee Bucks coaching staff as player development.
I think is he just listed as an assistant coach? I think he's the assistant coach who heads up player development, because I know there's a couple specific player development coaches, and I think that's a different tier. But yeah, Pete Dominguez, after Saturday's game, they played a back-to-back because why not? Saturday, Sunday, said he had pushed them too hard on Friday, which was the travel day to Vegas, and it carried over to Saturday. It certainly seemed like it carried over to Sunday as well, as the Summer Bucks got absolutely smoked by the Cavaliers. I was sitting there watching this game man, they're going to fire Adrian Griffin all over again. You can't lose to the Cavs like this. This leads to bad things. But I don't want to do too much of the rest thing, because also these are 19 to 22-year-olds. If there's a time in your life you should be able to bounce back and at least play solid, it's now. Not like we're at the end of a long season. I mean, I just feel like I have less sympathy after you watch the NCAA tournaments and they have these kids playing 40 minutes a night, 4 times in a week. It's okay, it's doable. I think it should be a little more manageable than this. So, how disappointed are you?
They're not even playing a ton of minutes either.
No, the leader so far is Marjon Beauchamp with 28, and most everyone else is between 23, 25 for Ajax is second. Everyone else is 12 to 22 who's actually playing. Yeah, it's 40-minute games as well. It's not a little shorter, thank goodness. No OT yet for the Bucks because they lost by too much, but given not just general Summer League excitement, but thoughts about this team, where there were, 6 guys, 7, maybe 7 guys you're really excited to see and watch and excited about their development. Are you sharing that disappointment, or was I just were my hopes too high?
I think I'm sharing a bit of the disappointment, right? Because this is a Summer League team that's very, very Bucks-centric, right? There are 6 guys on this roster who have not had any experience in the organization. That's it. It's a team where you're okay, there's a lot of cohesion here. These are guys who have actually played NBA minutes together. These are guys who have been a member of the Bucks organization, whether it be with the Bucks, the Herd, just training camp. They've been together. But no, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work as always. Here's the thing. I'm not going to be overly disappointed because at the end of the day, who cares? But it's a little disappointing given the circumstances. This isn't something that's going to keep me up at night. But I'm a little disappointed.
I might be up at night. I have agendas dying on the vine here, Rohan.
I might have agendas thriving.
Yeah, I have one agenda that's thriving. But most of them aren't doing well. Let's start with the most prominent player, probably the biggest discussion point coming in, Marjon Beauchamp.
My son.
I think, yes. There are some Beauchamp defenders out there who are saying he's being asked to do way too much. It's unfair. Nobody else had expectations this high. I mean, yeah, when you do an article coming into Summer League about it being a rare third Summer League for a first-round pick, you call it a sacrifice to go there, the expectations are going to be pretty high. Doc Rivers called you the most skilled young guy after the season. Like, the expectations are going to be there. I mean, this should be a format where Marjon thrives in. He's leading the team in minutes. He's leading the team in scoring. 20.5 points is good. He also is averaging 4 turnovers per game to 3 assists, is doing 8 rebounds, which is good, has had some great moments, but is shooting 38% from the field, 33% from 3, and at 90% from free throw, really good there. My big issue with him is, like, I wouldn't care if, no one's helping and Marjon has to take another tough shot at the end of the shot clock. His percentages aren't good. Oh, well, right? Like, that's Summer League stuff. I mean, I saw him drive 1-on-3 twice in a row late in yesterday's game. And it was like a fast break, but still, like literally driving into 3 players. And one of them, he had gotten and one. That's great. The second one, it was an air ball. And then he goes for a steal on the rebound and is way behind the play, and the Bucks give up another 3. I also just think, like, generally, I don't want to be the Bill Simmons body language doctor guy, but you'll see him just, like, walking up half court sometimes, looking visibly dejected, which has always been kind of a, like, confidence swings thing with Marjon that's going on. And I was just really hoping we'd see, I think, a different mentality. And I don't think he's done a lot to move off the ball. His defense has been good at times, but again, it's like a lot of threes getting nailed in his face, which isn't all his fault. I mean, Cleveland was red hot, but I don't know. I want to hear from you who's higher on Marjon. But just to preface, like, I certainly was not coming into Summer League. Like, I can't wait to tear apart Marjon Beauchamp. I was hoping he would come in here and make a leap. For anyone thinking that, hearing this, I think my disappointment has been I did expect more than this. 20 points per game is good. I haven't loved the way they've come for the most part. There's been some good moments.
Am I Russillo in this analogy?
Do you work out?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I don't want to be Russillo, though.
I don't want to be Bill.
Okay, here we are then. But
yeah. I don't want to be. I wanted the Bucks Summer League team to be good. We don't always get what we want, Rohan Russillo. Rohan Russillo is kind of a fire name. I'm not going to lie.
It does flow off the tongue very well, doesn't
Rohan Russillo. I have no idea where you'd be from. That's a very confusing combination of names.
It really is. Keeping that RR alliteration.
Yeah.
But no, coming in as someone who is one of Marjon's biggest, like, supporters, right? I still believe it's not. It's a little disheartening to see these first 2 games. And again, there's more games to come. We'll see. But I think especially the second of the 2 games was the worst one. The first one you can get away with, right? The first one you're like, okay, he might have been 7 of 18 from the field. A lot of them were bad threes. He was getting to the line. He was getting to the rim. That's something to be encouraged by, right?
And he had a dominant quarter in that game. That third quarter
kept them in the game. Kept his team in the game in that third quarter. Otherwise, that Bulls team was trying to run away. Marjon kept him in it. The second game is where you start to get into more of the decision making, right? Where you get into sort of more of the why are you taking these shots? Why do you feel like you have like those 1-on-3 fast breaks, I think, are very indicative of the mindset that we saw from Marjon out there. Is why are you doing that? Just in general, like, why? What's your thought process behind it? Can you not wait for help on these fast breaks? Can you not just, like, sort of lull the defense away from the rim as you make, like, a good read into another guy who's cutting towards the lane? Those sort of things. And again, the roster around him is not nearly as good as it will be in Milwaukee. So maybe he feels like, okay, I'm the best player here. I need to be able to take charge, when that's not going to be the case at all for the Milwaukee Bucks this season. Maybe I'm just giving too much benefit of the doubt.
No, I think that's fair. And I think that's the number one thing I see people pointing out, of like, oh, you're singling out Marjon, but he has to be the best player here. And that's probably true to a certain extent, but it's not like there's no other ball handlers. Like, I think he's playing at all times with at least one other ball handler. They may not be good at ball handling right at the moment, but Andre Jackson Jr., Ryan Rollins, and AJ
I was going to say,
and
like,
TyTy Washington.
Ryan Rollins, TyTy Washington, those are the guys who are like, yeah, those are ball handlers, right?
Yeah. Like, you can space off of these guys or run some actions, and it feels like a lot of the time, and again, maybe this is schematic. I would be inclined to not think it is, but those guys have the ball and Marjon kind of just is like spacing to the top of the key, waiting to get it up there and drive at the defense again. So that's the what I look at and just go like, he's had some really impressive moments. I mean, the and one that he made going 1-on-3 was an incredible play, right? Like, it's not like he's had nothing good. He's scoring 20 a game, but I would like to see at least a little bit of like that's scalable, where I think most guys on the team, there's been, even if it's just like a simple catch and shoot three, like that's what we need to see. And it just feels like we have not had those moments. And maybe it's a lot of that's on the other players. I don't know if it is. So yeah, that's why I'm not saying like this is a horrible summer league or I'm out on Marjon Beauchamp, but I just don't think I've seen what you were hoping to see, which is like, oh man, he is really decisive out of the triple threat. Like he knows when to drive, he knows when to pass, he knows when to just shoot it. It's more just been like, okay, he's going to ISO these 6'4" guys again. That's fine. That's not going to help us in November.
Yeah, exactly. Scalable, I think, is a really good way to put that. Like, what can you take away from this and say, okay, that's going to fit next to Giannis, Dame, Chris. That's what you need to see. That's what you need to see. We haven't seen any of that. His drives, that's good. Like, you want to see him being able to attack the rim because that's what he's going to be asked to do for the Milwaukee Bucks if he has the opportunity, right? He's going to be asked to like, okay, guys are closing out at you. Can you make something happen? Can you really attack off a closeout? Can you operate in a short roll situation if you're asked to be a screener? We haven't seen that, right? But just his ability to go drive, that's awesome. Like that's what you want to see. Just the decisions on those drives and the times he's doing it, that's what's a little disappointing.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to harp on Marjon too much. Let's talk about Andre Jackson Jr. next. Obviously, kind of the other prominent young guy who played a bunch. AJ Green did skip Summer League. He's probably feeling great about that decision right about now. I think that kind of tells you which of these guys is farthest ahead in the pecking order, too, which maybe is surprising. I don't know. Is that surprising that AJ Green would be ahead of Ajax? I don't know if we specifically touched on that question before.
I don't know if it's that surprising per se, considering I think the skill sets of both players. Like, what is AJ Green going to do in Summer League that we don't already know about?
I agree with you. Yeah.
Like, we're going to watch him come off pin downs, try to do like Klay Thompson-esque threes. That's okay, cool. We already knew you were going to do that. Maybe just defense and defensive acumen. But again, this is not the type caliber of player that's really going to show whether you're an actual NBA caliber defender or not.
Yeah, I will say they certainly could have used him.
Oh, not absolutely.
Even just for spacing, like the way we've seen like at the G League and Summer League levels, like he can get the ball in the post and just kind of cook like Chris Middleton to a certain extent. Like this team could really use that. They don't have that go-to ISO. I mean, Marjon drives, but like they don't have someone they can just dump the ball down to and feel good about 2 points very often, certainly outside of Marjon. So they could have used him, but I totally agree. Like we know AJ Green. I think it's great news for him and a spot in the rotation. And I think especially given the way Marjon and Andre Jackson Jr. have played, AJ Green, along with, I tweeted yesterday during the game, like Taurean Prince and DeLon Wright, ice up, man. Those minutes are going up in real time right now. Get ready, pals. But
get ready to learn Doc Rivers, buddy.
Yeah, get ready to. I think they know. I think they have a good idea coming in here. Not a good Summer League for Ajax at all. And I know he's not a Summer League kind of player. He's had some great highlights. I mean, the putback dunk and that sort of thing. Like, some of the decision-making I've been concerned about. He is also a negative assist turnover so far, 4 turnovers to 2.5 assists. Because he's like, not just like he gets in trouble. Like, he's crossing the three-point line dribbling and, like, picks up and throws a heater overhead pass that like smokes Ryan Rollins' hands and goes out of bounds. Just like, why did you do that? Some of the shots.
Poor Ibu Baji, man. He's getting a lot of.
Ryan Rollins whipping through the lane and like those are running turnaround right to Ibu. I was like, you can't do that. And that ball that's going the other way fast. We'll talk about Ibu. Third year, the Bucks brought him in to start a summer. If Portland signs him again, I'm just going to be like, what are we doing? This is so weird.
Just have him in training camp.
Just bring him in. I mean, clearly he wants to be a Buck more, and I get it, right? Like, 2 different orgs, but Portland keeps swooping in. But Ajax shooting a good percentage from 2, getting into the rim a little bit, which I like to see, but 14% from 3, negative assist to turnover ratio, only 3.5 assists per game, despite playing 25 minutes. Like, Not a lot of good. A little bit of good. I like the aggression getting to the rim a couple times with the ball. That's something we really said we wanted to see. But if the trade-off is he does that, but he shoots 14% from three, that's not going to work.
No, it's really not. And Andre Jackson Jr. is the guy here who late in the season and in the playoffs actually got minutes, right? Like, this is not typically the type of player who you would see in Summer League, right? However, it's good that he's there, one, because he's still a very young player who needs to develop a lot. And two, we're seeing why, right? The shot it might have been fool's gold year one, considering that it was not pretty looking coming in, but managed to shoot a little bit. But
yeah.
It was.
Does this form look a little different to you, or am I just not used to seeing it?
I don't know. I'll have to look more intently.
Look more intently, and I want the listeners to let me know what they think too. It looks very armsy to me, and I know it always has been, but please don't tinker. I don't think it's ever going to be pretty. Like, you got good results last year. I hope he's not like, oh, I need to do this differently. Like, I don't know.
I hope not. I really hope not. But Ajax is just he is the most chaotic Bucks player, I think.
Yeah. Just
in terms of what he does on a basketball court. And since Summer League is already just the most ultimate form of chaos you can find, young guys playing basketball in front of NBA scouts in Vegas, it's just throwing him in there is like throwing a match in a room full of dynamite, right? Sometimes it works. Yeah. Sometimes what you want to have.
What's the works in that scenario?
Yeah, I realized as I said that. I was like, what works?
Rohan loves explosions, man.
Hey, listen, don't get me in trouble. But I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it really is not. It's not working. It really is.
No, I agree. I've gotten a lot of too with like the Marjon criticism. Like, what about Ajax? Yeah, he's not played well either. I mean, it's pretty obvious, pretty disappointing. I think like he's a guy I'd like to see. You know, you talked about short roll. I'd love to see him doing more of that. And you know, he moves off ball, like he gets to the rim a lot. I mean, I will say like there's some good cuts being made by some of these players that just aren't getting paid off. I think we'll talk about TyTy. The point guard position has been probably the biggest disappointment, unfortunately so far. But who do you want to go to next after Ajax?
Let's save CL. Let's go AJ Johnson.
Pretty fun so far.
I listen, as someone who just vehemently hated this pick, right?
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, he doesn't look years away. I think he looks a year away.
I think or 2 years away instead of like 3 or 4, which was what we initially thought.
Because the ball handling chops are there.
Oh my God, that's what impressed me the most, right?
Yeah.
Like just seeing the ball in his hands, being just lined up at point guard and just being asked to handle the ball a lot, get guys in good situations. He's quick with it as well. He doesn't really play a slow game. He plays a very, very fast game. He's going to need to learn how to play a slower game. Yeah. But he's got the fast part down.
I mean, for him, like, and this is true for every player, but if he can actually knock down that three, I think he's actually going to be like a pretty, I don't want to say very yet. I'll say very. I think he's going to be a very effective ball handler in the league because he gets it open a lot. I mean, his step back form is good. They have not fallen down. He shot 33% from three, which honestly not terrible given the spacing on this team. That's what Marjon shot too. But he's able to get those open. He's able to get to the rim. He's spraying out passes, even though he only has 2 assists per game right now. Only 2.5 turnovers, though, which, again, for this team, it's still negative, but this is the difference between us discussing 2 guys who have played for the Milwaukee Bucks and the 19-year-old who was like the rawest prospect. Led them in scoring for the first half of the first game, which I was like, okay, I really like that response. Like, he's probably seen all the, he's really raw stuff, and he goes, let's see how raw I am now. He has not led them in scoring since, but he is one of only 4 players to average double-digit points. He's scoring as much per game as Ryan Rollins. Rollins has shot better from 2. Johnson shot better from 3. Rollins has been the better playmaker so far, I would say. But, yeah, it's been fun so far. I mean, do I think he plays this year? No, not much at least. Maybe they use him as the emergency point guard. That's been kind of discussed of like, there's that open roster spot. Do you want a point guard to back up if DeLon Wright misses some time? I mean, if it's not going to be long term, maybe you do just let Ryan Rollins do a little, or maybe you just let AJ Johnson do some. But it's been really fun to watch him. He's very athletic, good ball handle. Like, just needs to figure it out from there and just get a little stronger.
Yeah, because the quickness, the athleticism is there, the ball handling's there. You just need to figure everything else out. But it's the bar was absolutely underground for me. So maybe this isn't as impressive as it sounds, but he's looked better than I thought.
I agree. And I also, he had some pretty nice screen navigation on a couple possessions defensively. Like, it's good. He's been a hound defensively. He's been a pest at 6'4". Like, that's pretty good size for a ball handling guard. I see the vision more than I did before. That's for sure. I also don't think he looks incredibly scrawny out there. He's obviously small.
He does look pretty scrawny.
I don't think he looks super. I keep seeing the Brandon Jennings comp, and I kind of like that.
I don't really see it, but
I don't like, not in terms of exactly how they play, but just like Brandon Jennings was always kind of a small guard, but he made it work, right? Like, I think that in that way I see it.
Hopefully he looks taller than I expected.
Yes. Maybe that's like tricking me.
I don't know. That's what I thought. He definitely looks scrawny out there, but he looks taller than I expected.
I don't think he looks like minuscule scrawn compared to the other players in Summer League. How about that?
Sure.
Like, I'm not like, oh my God, there's like one like really tiny guy. I mean, I guess they played Amoni Bates last game, so it's pretty hard to stand out. They say he's put on a lot of muscle. I was like, wow, I guess.
Did he?
He was incredibly scrawny as well, coming out of college.
What? I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
college. I don't remember.
Wasn't it like Michigan State or something?
Yes, I think so. One of the Michigans. Don't ask me which one.
It was Eastern Michigan.
I was going to say, I didn't think it was one of the main two Michigans. It was one of the what's the word?
Other.
Tertiary Michigans.
Yeah. Well,
tertiary always mean three?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
What is the word you gave me?
Tertiary always means three.
No, but what's the word you said? Quaternary?
Yeah, that's 4.
Or is that 4?
Yeah.
Isn't there one that just means not first or second? I thought you would.
No, I think that's what you thought tertiary meant.
I know, but I thought you had a word that actually meant that.
I don't think so. Maybe there is. I just can't think of it offhand.
I got a good word for you.
Okay.
Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 5 million active members. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's you against the numbers, just like it's me against the words on this podcast. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. And make sure you get set up this week, because every week there's fun opportunities like lowering select players' stat projections on Tuesdays or getting entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. The hoops action is ongoing on Prize Picks with women's basketball. Stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones. I'm not going to question it. She is a star. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu. I could go on, and I have included all of these players in my lineups at certain points. You can too in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, Georgia, and crucially, Wisconsin. So I am always looking for Caitlin Clark on more than assists, except when they play the Lynx. Be careful about the Lynx. That defense is pretty mean out there. And you know what? How about some Christian Yelich hitter fantasy score? I've done a little research. I think this Christian Yelich guy is pretty good. I think hitter fantasy score reflects that. So there's an option as well. MLB, very fun to play on Prize Picks too. Download the app today and use code EuroStep for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code EuroStep, all one word, on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. We got to talk Tyler Smith, dude. I'm so excited.
Right?
I'm so excited about Tyler Smith. You go. Because I feel like I was higher on Tyler Smith coming in. I want to hear it from you first.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the shot looks really nice, doesn't it? Like the shot form, it looks really good. It looks like it's going to translate immediately.
It's fast.
It's very fast. It's very
25% because he had a bad game too, but I'm not concerned.
It's an NBA. It's a very NBA ready jumper, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Very NBA ready jumper, and it's one that obviously looks quick. He can get it off against taller guys, against guys who are his size. He can shoot over the top of most guys because he's just so long. He's not strong enough at all. Again, makes me question even more why that one piece said, "Oh, maybe he's the backup 5 this season." It's like
insane. Yeah.
What are you talking about? He cannot play the 5 at all, even in summer league.
I don't think he's ever going to be a 5.
No, I don't think so. I think you can put him at stretches at small ball 5 a little bit, maybe, but
you have Giannis, you can.
I was going to say because it's Giannis on the court, but then Giannis is your 5. So that's the only situation I see that working out. However, a lot of good things, right? He can finish around the rim with ease. He can really contort his body, finish at what he wants to, at whatever angle. That's what impresses me the most, honestly, is his play on the interior.
I've on that note, I've been pretty impressed by the same mechanics that have gone into his rebounding. I think he's had some really impressive. He needs to get more physical for sure. I'm not going to disagree there. But he's been able to fly in and like reach up and corral some rebounds to a level I didn't expect to see. And again, he's going to have to – I don't think he's ever going to be a dirty work player. He's going to have to get better at those things for sure. Doesn't have to be elite at them though to be this kind of like, stretch 4 who's just big enough to get rebounds and can shoot over everyone. Like if he's going to be a plus athlete and a plus shooter at 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan – honestly, the defense.
He looks taller than 6'9" out there.
I think he probably plays closer to 6'10", 6'11". I mean, 6'9", I think was the listed. I'm not sure if that might have been no shoes.
That might have been no shoes.
So I think he plays at least 6'10". Again, the plus wingspan will always make you look a little taller. For him, I'm like, make this guy the emergency big to start the year. Like, we don't need to bring in a Serge Ibaka. We don't need Robin Lopez. Like,
somebody has to miss. Why would you even say that?
You never know what's going to happen. Imagine if they brought him back again.
Which one?
Either.
Bro, I was going to say I'd just go protest outside Pfizer, but I'm not in Milwaukee right now.
Be careful about that decision right at the moment. But I'm intrigued, and I don't think he's as far away, even though I also don't think he knows how to play defense. Like, you can't have him playing for you for like a long stretches of games right now in the NBA level. And that's I mean, he's far away. They put him in an action and he just like wanders somewhere. It's like watching like The Sims if you're not controlling them, and they just like, or like really any game with an NPC, they just like take 4 steps and stand. That's Tyler Smith in pick and roll defense right now. He's got a lot to learn.
Have you ever tried to corral a villager in Minecraft?
Yes. That's even better. He is exactly like a villager. Wah, wah, and he's trying to trade you 16 dirt for a ruby or an emerald, and you're just like, no, dude, not doing that. That's an aside. But yeah, really
GSP and Minecraft server is going to hit.
It would, dude. That's the thing. I play it once every 4 years, and I play it for like a week straight when I do. I don't get the urge often, but like you got to go into the mines if you're going to play.
Oh yeah,
Tyler Smith's got to go into the mines and get some.
That's exactly
defense,
what Tyler Smith's got to do.
Physicality, yeah. But again, I think
the children yearn for the mines.
That is true. Undeniably true. But I'm really excited. I think the draft scout has held up of like, doesn't know how to play defense, not the most physical player, but a plus athlete, a plus shooter at that size, that's really exciting. Like that is a potential really prized role player. And to be having this guy in, even if year 1 is mostly development, on the 4-year vet min, incredible value.
Incredible. And that's why we were so high on the pick, right?
Yeah.
Both of us at the time, because this is a guy who has the talent to be a great NBA role player, right? And on that veteran minimum contract as a 2nd-round pick, those are the types of wins you need on the fringes if you're the Bucks, right? Limited assets, limited flexibility. You need to win around the margins, and that's the type of pick that'll let you win around the margins.
Have you seen the Terrence Shannon Jr. clips from Minnesota?
Not really. All I saw is he has the unlimited ammo GTA glitch tattooed on his arm.
He does. He's looked really good on both ends. We'll see. but it may be a draft miss by us and by the Bucks. More importantly, by the Bucks. But
we did our due diligence.
No, I know. I mean, just even looking at on court, I wasn't that impressed. It's been good so far. It is, I'm not going to get too carried away by summer league either way, but it's been a good.
What about your guy Keyshawn George?
He shot the ball really well. A lot of turnovers and fouls,
which is fair.
So again, good, kind of a mixed bag for him. Maybe I think would probably be better than AJ Johnson. Day one. Don't know based on that though if he would actually play for the Bucks. So we'll see. We'll see what he does for the Wizards. Okay, we have to talk about CL now. It's been long enough.
Get on your soapbox, Todd.
Did you see my tweet?
Yes.
Said Chris Livingston over Marjon Beauchamp. I'll explain on the pod. I mean, a lot of people. I was actually pretty surprised. I want to say maybe double-digit people were you don't have to explain. It's obvious. Someone said, I felt this way since January, and I just replied, the Utah game, a man of culture. Because I believe the Utah game was in January. And that's when it was on full display. The Utah game's been on display in Summer League. 14 points per game is second on the team, despite he's taken 9 shots, which is tied for third, and only one below TyTy Washington, who has 8 shots. 7.5 rebounds per game is second behind Marjon. Again, he's playing 6 less minutes per game. Half an assist, steal, and block. So he's done one each of the games. 2 turnovers per game isn't great. He still tries to do things he shouldn't do. I think he still needs to rein it in a little bit. But this is what I'm talking about, where he is not going to play this role, even this role. He's not a primary offensive player, but he's a lot closer here than he would ever be with the Bucks. I can overlook a couple turnovers per game because he's trying to create something on a team where nothing is working. I'm not going to stress over that too much. 55% from the field, 66% from 3. He's 4 for 6 so far from deep. The shot looks good. He's made some contested ones. He's gotten some good rebounds. He's really, maybe my favorite thing about him, he's just like a rumbler going toward the court, man.
It's exactly, it's the physicality.
If you're not in perfect position, he's probably getting through you. I think he's finished pretty well. Who he kind of reminds me of on those drives?
Give me a hint.
He's not as big as this player. It's a maligned player, but they've gotten All-NBA before. He's not as big, but he's like a more of a wing version of this player who's more of a 4-5.
I don't know. Kevin Garnett?
No. Randall.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Julius Randle. Obviously, he's not as good as Julius Randle. And Randall's just straight up bigger, although probably only a couple inches bigger. Randall's not super tall. If he was, that'd solve a lot of problems for New York. But I remember Randall would just when he gets rolling to the rim, it's oof. If you're not right in front of him, he's just going to go right through you. That's how Chris Livingston kind of plays too. It's been really fun to watch. Very springy, very athletic. He's got Rich Paul courtside dapping him up, giving him tips after the game. He, to me, is probably the one guy who I'm okay, almost all of these things translate exactly to the Bucks, and I could see you helping the team doing these things. Certainly at the highest level versus the other guys we've talked about. And does he benefit from being off ball more than those guys? Yes, he also, it's to his detriment. They asked him to start and play the 5 yesterday, which is not something I think he can really do. The defense has just been a mess the whole time. But I haven't loved everything, but I think overall he has probably been the biggest, would you say biggest riser or just most impressive? I don't know which I would go with.
I think I don't know what sort of award to give him in that regard. Yeah. But I will say a good one for sure. But what we were talking about earlier with Marjon is we need to see you do things that are scalable. Nearly everything we've seen CL do is scalable to the NBA, right? Yeah. And exactly to the role that he would want to play. You know what he looks like to me out there?
Oh.
He looks like a combination. This is going to be the weirdest player of all time.
I love this already.
Okay. He looks like a combination of Jay Crowder and Jeremy Grant and Dennis Smith Jr.
Wow. You might be higher on CL than me now because I know how you feel about at least 2 of those players.
Because it's
I guess the boss man brings it down a little bit.
The boss man brings it down to reality. So, the Jeremy Grant, maybe Jeremy Grant's not a good example because he's more of a perimeter player than an interior player. But just the way that
where CL should be at this point.
I don't know either, and I think that's a good thing, right?
I think it is too.
because you don't want to pigeonhole him, right? Into something. Obviously, you want him to be good at least one thing before just being like a jack of all trades, master of none. Like you got to be good at something to be able to play. But just in terms of like him moving his feet on defense, him getting through guys, and the body type, I like the Dennis Smith Jr. and Jay Crowder. I don't know who to put in for the interior presence. Montrezl Harrell. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's kind of the Randall type of things. Yeah, he's got that to his game. He's a weird player because he's like, what? I think he's 6'6".
Yeah.
With longer arms. Jump out of the gym. I think he surprises people with how athletic he is because he's just like, he's very big. I mean, they drafted him at a young 19, and even then it was like, I think Vicini wrote, like, he's got like one of the most like refined, just like bodies, muscle that you see coming out of the draft at that age. And has not gotten any smaller, but he moves like really well athletically for that size. Pete Dominguez, I mean, was asked just generally about Livingston. He had a 4-paragraph quote. I won't read the whole thing verbatim, but he started out by saying earlier in the interview, he had said, like, we're asking some guys to do too much. He said, one of the guys I was thinking about when I said that was Livingston because he's played 3 through 5, asking him to do a ton. He said the biggest thing for him is he's in more of a leadership position now. He's able to be more vocal, be at the back line of the defense, calling out coverages. So you'd like to see him given that kind of responsibility. Dominguez said, I think he's been great. He liked his effort and energy, which those two words are just never, ever leaving us, apparently.
Never. We will never get rid of energy and effort.
Never. He said he's obviously shown some improvement with his outside shot. I mean, he's in the gym every day working on that, and I'm really happy to see the steps that he's taken with that. Then he closed by saying he's such a Swiss Army knife in what he can do on the court. Another young guy who has a tremendous future ahead of him, and I have to balance giving him a lot but not giving him too much. I mean, pretty good stuff. Pretty, I'd say, overall glowing stuff. I'm going to really watch for like the calling out coverages side of things. I think that, if you're adding that to your game and able to do that at a good level, whether you're playing 3, 4, 5, like very, very helpful and just positive contribution thing to do on the NBA court. I think it really stands out, especially it's hard to tell like the NBA sometimes, but like the smaller the game, the more you can hear from the court, the more you can see with the camera angles. That's like a big differentiator, like who's calling out coverages, who's vocal on defense, who isn't. So would love to see CL pick up on that even more, hoping to see it. If he's with the herd much, we'll see. I mean, I think he's got a real shot at playing actual minutes at some point this season. I mean, I'll say this, he has at least started to close the ground on the other young guys at Summer League, if not pull even with them.
I think that's very fair to say, right? I think he definitely has not done anything to hurt his stock, and especially with what we were talking about with Marjon and even Ajax, Chris Livingston is sort of pulling himself even. I think that's a really good way to put it. He's pulling himself even because he is seeing his stock rise with the coaching staff that is going to be responsible for like reporting to the main staff about player development, right?
Yeah,
that's what you want to see.
A lot of the main guys are there too.
Yeah, have we seen Doc
there? I don't think we've seen Doc. Doc's
too busy.
To do.
Doc's too busy making Vetman guys pay for his dinner in LA.
Yeah, he probably is with DeLon Wright. I think he's probably, it's Dame's birthday today. Happy birthday,
Dame.
He's birthday boy. Want to buy me a steak? I love the Doc's just like a grifter.
That's a great new character we've come up with.
Yeah.
Grifter
Doc. He's like in Paris for the Olympics, just like hitting up Grant Hill, like, can I I'm not gonna do the Doc.
Can I have a ticket? Can you get me in the building?
No, he needs a room. He'll speak to the team, but he needs a room. He needs some meal budget. He needs some golf budget, but he will address the team.
I need to be in as a consultant again.
I love that we're going from like just Doc to just like old wizened guy.
I'm not very good at impressions.
Doing a Doc voice is so hard. I don't know if I said on the pod, I did a perfect one once because I had lost my voice and I could do it. And this was way before he's the Clippers coach still. But I was like, this is incredible. I was doing it the whole time I had lost my voice. But then I got my voice back and haven't been able to do one since. I want to get this over with. I'm just really disappointed in TyTy Washington Jr. Assuming you have no more CL stuff.
I mean, just to put a cap on CL.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think we've seen guys start hot and not maintain before. And same that we said like with Marjon the other way to end with CL. I really want to see it carried through. Like if he plays like this the last 3 games as well, I think he's not there yet, but he's putting himself in a spot where he can come into camp and preseason and not like he's saying this, but with his play say, hey, I can do some of the things that we like that Ajax does, and maybe I'm more ready offensively than he is to actually contribute and help the team. We'll see, but I'm excited about it. TyTy Washington is just
good friend of the pod.
Good friend of the pod. Just does not look explosive. Has not been able to beat guys off the dribble. Has shot the ball horrendously, despite not all bad looks, but 31% from the field, 16% from 3. Just 1.5 assists to 1.5 turnovers and nearly 17 minutes, which, I mean, I really thought there was a shot, a pretty good shot. He could look like the best player on the court for the Bucks in Summer League. I mean, he wasn't given any honors or anything, but had a very nice season for the Wisconsin Herd on that 2-way. And I think, in terms of not differentiating between like NBA and G League, probably had one of the best seasons of any of these guys. You could argue Ajax because he came in and helped the team. I mean, he was also getting various DNPs. Like he was also going to play in Oshkosh a couple times. Like I thought TyTy played at a very high level last year, pretty much the whole season, and just it is not carried over at all. I think he, more than anyone, like needs a good last 2-3 games here to just like I don't know if he has a 2-way spot right now. The way he's playing, I don't know if he's going to get one back. I mean, we have not seen Stanley Umude. I think he's still recovering from the ankle fracture. And I believe it was reported by the Journal Sentinel and confirmed by me just from looking at stuff. I didn't actually confirm it. That they couldn't make TyTy a restricted free agent because he didn't play enough or something like that. And he's only on a 1-year deal. Like he didn't play enough Bucks games. So I did hear that he's like kind of just he might just be on a summer contract right now. I'm not 100% sure. But like they did sign Umude, and they brought back Rollins and Galloway as well. So one of those 3 guys is not currently on a 2-way. One of them's on a summer contract right now. I believe it's TyTy Washington Jr. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean they can be flexible. There's no cap hit. Like they can move these guys around if they want. He has lost more stock than probably anyone going through Summer League right now.
Yeah, it's tough because I think you're right. I think he is the one who is on an Exhibit 10? Or not an Exhibit 10. That's for training camp, just a summer.
It could be an Exhibit 10.
Just a summer league contract or something.
Yeah, I mean, not a like these are just to like make it simple for anyone listening. He's on some sort of contract, I think, with like even less security than a 2-way, which is not. I mean, again, you can get no cap hit.
Yeah, there's no security.
But it's at least it's more established.
You get paid for Summer League, and that's it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Until, whatever happens. But It hasn't been great. I think Ryan Rollins has really impressed me, and that's sort of made TyTy Washington look a little expendable.
Yeah, I think
but
Rollins
not in like a good
grab that spot.
Good like Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone sort of Expendables way.
Yeah.
I know movies.
Yeah.
I know movies.
Rohan Russillo. Next week on the Rewatchables.
Oh, God.
Dark Knight again.
I was going to watch Skyfall, but then I was like, let me just watch The Dark Knight instead. It's the same movie, except worse. But
Adam's you're not going to.
I know.
Gonna have
that's
to tell
what
him
I'm
about
saying.
This.
No,
Andrew?
it's fine. It's fine. But no, Ryan Rollins looking very good has sort of taken away from what hype TyTy Washington had really coming in, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. Not too much more to add on TyTy. We can kind of speed through the last couple. Not many guys. Actually, let's give some time a couple minutes to Rollins, who I think outside of Chris Livingston and like maybe you want to say Tyler Smith is really one of the biggest risers, and ended up I think had a pretty bad second half of the Cavs game. Went a little under the radar, but he is.
Who didn't have a bad Cavs game though?
Chris Livingston, but pretty much no one else.
Yeah.
Rollins is shooting sub 40% from 3 and 22% or sub 40% from the field, and is shooting 22% from 3, which is not good. His defense has been among the best on the Bucks Summer League team, and that was the book on him coming in. He's like a hard-nosed defending guard. He's I think like 6'3", 6'4". He shot the ball really well with the Herd. I'm really interested to see like Can he get that number, that 3-point percentage up in these last couple of games? But overall, I think he has looked the most like he knows what he's doing on every possession. He's taken some really hard shots, but when he does, like you can see, he runs the pick and roll. He looks for a pass. He looks for a cutter. Okay, no one's moving. No one's getting open. Let me take this hard step through. And he's made some tough shots on those. He's just going to have to be more efficient shooting the ball. But also, for Summer League, these are really impressive numbers. 4.5 assists to 2.5 turnovers and has 2.5 steals per game. Like, that's really good to kind of guard production. He's just got to shoot the ball better. But I don't think his shot has looked terrible. They just haven't – there's been a lot of rim outs for the Bucks in Summer League, and that's hurting these guys' percentages. But I think he has been one of the big risers and looks to be like – I mean, kind of to me is like, okay, we need a guard to step in and play minutes. Maybe it's Ryan Rollins on the two-way before it's anyone else, honestly.
It might be. It honestly might be. This is also a guy with like a lot of NBA experience. Maybe not a lot, but NBA experience as well.
Yeah.
Like
first round pick for the Warriors.
Wizards?
I think no. I thought he
was on the Wizards.
Warriors traded him to the Wizards.
That sounds right.
I have it backwards.
I think you're right, but he does have experience, and I don't know. It seems cleaner. It seems more refined. It seems better.
It was Warriors first, then Wizards, then Bucks. He has played 25 NBA games, quite a few in the G League, but hadn't even gotten to play in the G League too much before this season. Actually, for his career, shooting 46% from three at the NBA level. Again, really small sample, but I think has been a huge riser. Has been fun to watch, and I think has kind of like jumped up the list of the two ways here. Jalen Galloway, like some really fun, has forced a couple of really fun jump balls. Is shooting 16% from the field and 20% from three, and just like feels like a non-factor on off. He's made 1 3. I was excited when he made it. And then from there is like turn the ball over and not done much else. It's like, okay, you can be a great defender. He's got a good wing body type and everything. You have to be able to do something offensively. So he really needs to have a game where he's like 3 for 4 from three to have a shot. I think it kind of getting any esteem versus these other guys.
Yeah.
And Ibubaji is very big.
Ibubaji is a large man.
Good free throw shooter. Has not missed a free throw. Not good hands.
Not great, bro. He's got thon hands.
Yeah, he does.
It's really, bro. Ibubaji with like Zach Randolph's hands would be one of the best players in the league.
I mean, you can see why they keep trying to bring him back because at the G League level, that size always just plays, and he is like blocking shots, 1.5 blocks per game, only 5.5 rebounds. He doesn't play much. He's almost too big. Like he's not super quick, even for a big. 50% had a really nice and one like fadeaway jumper, which I called at the time like one of the funniest plays I can remember seeing. I think DJ Burns got him on the arm, and it was just like the shot was like in the air for an hour. It was such a high. I was like, you don't probably need to shoot with that much loft at 6'10" or whatever, but still looks pretty raw. Which even though this is going to be, I think, his third summer trying to make an NBA team. He's missed a lot of time with injuries, so it kind of makes sense, but you'd still like to see a little bit more polish from him at this point, I think.
Yeah, you would hope to see a little bit more. And again, it's injuries. It's like, can he fix his hands? Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But you gotta be good at something.
Yeah.
He's really good at being big, though.
Yes, he is. You can't teach that.
No, you really can't. But maybe you should teach other things.
You should at least try. We've seen Hugo Besson.
Yeah, I know our long lost son.
He can get lost again.
Yeah, he's going back.
Yeah, David Milt was like, "We're gonna find him a new team. It's not gonna be here
because the team he was playing for doesn't exist anymore.
He is gonna be a star in Puerto Rico.
He is going to. You know what? Is OJ still playing there?
I don't know. Maybe I don't.
I hope not. I hope OJ is like retired. Mayo, by the way, the other OJ really is retired. But
yeah, definitely.
No, he plays in the Egyptian Super League.
Oh boy,
that sounds awesome.
Is there a spot for Hugo? He's just a chucker, but he's not good enough.
Yeah,
for Hugo, he had a couple nice like drives. He had a couple nice passes, but like so much of his game is just like, I'm gonna shoot this. He was 1 for 5 in 14 minutes. Like, that's a lot of shots, dude. And it was late in the game. I get it. Like, show off. It's summer league. I know. I just, his stats overseas haven't been very good. Watching him in person, kind of see why. Yeah, that's Hugo.
He was the only Buck with a positive plus minus.
Hey, maybe play him more. Maybe he's the key.
I think so. That's what we learned. We'll see him in game 3 because he didn't play in game 1.
He did not. The last guy I'll say, the only other guy who played in both games, Vin Baker Jr. I was mad about it at first because I was like, do we have to see Vin Jr.? Was actually like a pretty solid DHO hub for the guards. If that's all he's going to do, that's fine. Like, he's not going to make the team. You know, he's there to get some burn and probably go get a contract somewhere else. But I'm not going to complain about his minutes because he's actually helping guys get into position. Also,
he's playing he's being a good role player on a summer league team where everyone's trying to prove themselves.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Difficult to see, and understandably so, because all of these guys are trying to make a name for themselves. He's doing a good job making a name for himself as a role player.
He's already got a name.
He's got a great name.
That's set up. That's established. I hope we see Jalen Lewis, the 6'10 OTE guy who had horrible stats in OTE, but I'm always interested in a 6'10 guy at Summer League. So he has not played a single minute. We'll see if he does. The only other guys who played,
Did we talk about Jalen Galloway?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you passed on. Do you have any other Jalen Galloway thoughts?
No, I mean, it's all right.
Lock in the gym and shoot those threes, man. If he shot 40% from 3, I think he's an actual NBA player. I think he's pretty far from that right now.
Yeah, because he's not doing anything else.
No. Yeah. Defends. He's a good defender, but you have to do something on offense.
Yes. Good athlete.
Kihei Clark.
Yeah, you told me you had 40 minutes on him. Let's do it.
I don't. He's a good guy. I know him a little bit from the herd. He is there to set the table in his minutes, but he only played 3 minutes, so there wasn't much table to set.
The table's already... They were taking apart the table.
The table was disassembled by the time he got in. I think that Beno Udrih is going to be back. He has been very active from the sideline, coaching the team. So assuming that he is going to be in position as the herd coach again, which was... I mean, it's not confirmed, but it sure seems like it, right? I mean, like, I don't think you'd have the guy super involved and then have someone else do it. So cool to see. I mean, obviously it was inherited by Doc. Wasn't sure. When I first asked him about, like, have you been in touch with Doc? He's like, yeah, Doc sent me some plays on email. I was like, okay, so not much. But cool to see him kind of more involved with the rest of the coaching staff now. And
where can you get me some places to go in Oshkosh? Can you get me into the Electric Lounge?
Can you get me a spot in Goran Dragic's retirement ceremony? I heard it's a great spread. That game is this summer, by the way. Giannis is supposed to be there. The Goran Dragic retirement game. Beno's going to be there. I confirmed. So, yeah. Fun. That'll be fun. I don't know if it's happened already or what, actually.
I mean, I hope we get an invite. We were big Goran Dragic fans in his time as Milwaukee.
God. That's a good time. That's a good place to wrap it up.
But yeah, Summer League, they play again on tomorrow, Tuesday, against the Clippers at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're the late game.
2:39.
Yeah, they're the late game.
Oh, boy.
The 2-0 Clippers versus the 0-2 Bucks. By the way, the Bucks have basically been eliminated from playoff contention.
It's only the top 6 teams. They're for sure done.
It's over. It's really over. But what else is new for the Milwaukee Bucks in Summer League?
We're used to this, unfortunately.
But we will have you covered for all things Bucks. What else is going on? We got Summer League. We got the Olympics coming up. We got a lot. We still got an open roster spot, trade speculation, all that fun stuff. So we will have you covered with all that here on the Eurostep. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Eurostep on Blue Iron GSPN, presented by our friends at Prize Picks. Make sure you check out gspn.info. There's a subscription there you can sign up for, a commercial-free podcast.
Premium.
Yeah, GSPN Premium, commercial-free pods, exclusive GSPN After Dark pod, all of our written content, plus bonus content, all for $8 a month. Plus, you can just subscribe wherever you're listening or watching this podcast platform of choice, YouTube, wherever. We appreciate you nonetheless. Make sure you tell your friends and family about the show. Pod Random, and we'll talk to you next time.